Part the Thur, Masks and Music. October 17th, 1889, Covent Garden, London. The doors to the Draycott Theatre opened not with applause, but with a scream. Margaret Holloway stood just inside the velvet curtain, gazing down at the stage where the prima donna had been found, dead, cold, and posed like a statue beneath a suspended chandelier. The theatre was empty now, save for her and a handful of yardmen, but the air still smelled of roses, dust, and powder. The singer's name was Celeste Armitage, 32, beloved, untouchable until tonight. The way she had been placed, it was almost reverent. Her arms spread as if to embrace an audience, her mouth open in mid-song, a red ribbon tied gently around her throat. No blood, no note. Not at first. Inspector Holloway. Hensley's voice came from the back of the stage. He held a violin case unearthed from behind the set curtain. You'll want to see this. Inside the case, nestled against deep green velvet, was a single piece of parchment and a hand-carved mask made of bone-white porcelain. The parchment read, "The third echo sings not with voice, but silence made pure by art. In every note not sung, he draws near. J." Holloway exhaled sharply, the mask reflected in her eyes. 2 hours later, Scotland Yard. "They're revolving," Holloway said, pacing her office. This one wasn't just staged, it was a performance in itself. He killed her on stage, with the orchestra in the pit, with the world watching. "Not a drop of blood," Hensley added, flipping through the coroner's early notes. "Strangled, gently, no bruising, like... She trusted him." "She probably did," Holloway murmured. "He didn't pose her as much as he directed her, like a final act." She tapped the mask resting on her desk. Smooth, feminine, cracked slightly at the edge of the jaw. "Have it tested for origin," she said. "No London maker would craft something this fragile. Might be Italian, possibly Commedia dell'arte." "The mask and the violin," Hensley said, pointing. "He left them like props, like instruments." She nodded. "Each victim so far has a role to play. Cutter, a seamstress, symbol of creation. Veil, a singer, voice, message, Armitage, performer, medium, stage. They're building something," Holloway said. "Or worse, summoning something." Hensley gave her a long look. "You really think this is some kind of cult?" She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Later that night, Holloway's flat. The Gospel of the Knife sat open on the floor, dozens of pages now dog-eared and marked, written in feverish Latin and Old English, its margins inked with symbols and names. Holloway had translated what she could with the help of a linguist at the university, though most had refused to read further after a few pages. One passage now glared up at her, scribbled in the same hand as the inner cover. "The fifth echo is the final one. The master emerges when the chorus ends. 5, always 5. 3 victims. That meant 2 more. She lit a cigarette with trembling fingers. Her eyes scanned the city map, now cluttered with pins and thread. She'd drawn arcs between each crime scene. At first, the pattern was abstract, but then she saw it. Not a triangle, not a circle, a pentagram. The locations marked the outer points. 2 more, she said aloud. 2 left. If she could guess the next 2 coordinates, she might stop him. If she guessed wrong, the 5th would be the last, and the beginning. October 18th, Royal College of Surgeons. Holloway stepped into the quiet museum annex, where glass cases housed ancient medical tools and preserved organs. She met with Professor Elric Danvers, a sharp-eyed man with little patience for superstition, but a deep knowledge of secret history. He examined the gospel with disdain, then unease. "This is pre-Christian," he said. "Older than Rome, older than your Ripper. The language is an amalgam of Gnostic dogma, surgical allegory, and theatrical metaphor." "What does it mean?" Holloway asked. Danvers tapped the phrase 5th echo. "It refers to a ritual, a culmination. The idea is that 5 symbolic deaths, each mirroring an aspect of transformation, conjure the master of voices, likely a metaphor for ego or for madness. Each victim plays a part. Exactly, and the final must be the vessel, a receptacle for the master to speak through." "Speak to who?" Danvers smiled grimly. "To everyone." That night, Westminster Abbey grounds Holloway dreamt she was standing on the roof of the Abbey, the fog swirling around her ankles. Below, 5 figures in white masks stood in a circle, their hands linked, whispering in perfect unison. She couldn't hear the words, but she could feel them, like blades scraping against bone. She woke sweating, heartbeat loud in her ears. There were 2 more deaths coming, 2 more rolls, and somewhere in the shadows of London, a man in gloves and a porcelain mask was preparing the 4th act.